I have been sitting here thinking about this team, and honestly, the energy surrounding our defense this offseason feels like a powder keg ready to blow. A major update just developed regarding a polarizing addition to the Buffalo Bills roster that could shake up everything we thought we knew about our secondary. It is fascinating because this individual has been a lightning rod for controversy at every stop, yet he seems convinced he has found a true home here. The more details surface, the harder it is to ignore the intensity building behind the scenes. Smash that like button, subscribe, and comment your name and city. Let us get into it. Let's go Buffalo! The Buffalo Bills have officially signed veteran safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson to a one-year deal worth $3.5 million. A move that is already sending shockwaves through our locker room and the league alike. As Buffalo Bills fans, we are watching this high-stakes acquisition play out with equal parts skepticism and excitement because this playmaker brings a volatile, high-energy presence to a secondary that is undergoing a massive transformation under head coach Joe Brady. Gardner-Johnson arrived in Western New York this past March after a whirlwind 2025 campaign that saw him bounce between the Texans, Ravens, and Bears, yet his defensive resume featuring 20 interceptions remains undeniably impressive. And honestly, this signing felt like water and oil to many of us at first because of his reputation for being a total firecracker who struggles to mesh with coaching staffs. The specific details of the deal were confirmed back in March, revealing that his connection to former mentor Craig Robertson was the primary bridge bringing him to our team. Here is where it gets interesting, as he is projected to start opposite Cole Bishop to anchor our defensive backfield for the 2026 season. Let's be real, the initial reaction from our fan base was mixed because of his history of locker room friction, specifically his messy exit from Houston after a heated exchange with management. That matters because we are desperately trying to forge a new identity under Brady, and adding a guy who openly admits he has never been a captain while trading barbs with critics like Antonio Brown on social media is a massive gamble. Now here's the thing, he claims he is finally home and ready to lead by winning rather than just talk. Regardless of the drama, he is our guy now, so it is time to embrace the chaos and scream, "Let's go Buffalo!" As Buffalo Bills fans, we have to look at how this unconventional marriage actually came together. This signing was born from a desperate search for secondary playmakers after our defensive backfield struggled with consistency throughout a turbulent 2025 campaign. Signing a veteran for a bargain $3.5 million deal serves as a high-reward gamble for our front office. When you weigh his career production of 20 interceptions and 55 pass deflections against his nomadic status, including stops with 3 separate teams in just 7 months, the risk is apparent. Historically, this team has seen similar volatile personalities thrive under disciplined cultures. But Gardner-Johnson represents a unique challenge given his well-documented exit from Houston last season following that heated training camp confrontation. Here is where it gets interesting because our coaching staff under Joe Brady is clearly betting that the right environment can harness his intensity rather than let it burn out. Let's be real, the front office is likely viewing this as a short-term window to maximize his ball-hawking skills before the contract expires. They have likely concluded that his specific brand of competitive fire is exactly what we need to elevate our secondary into a top-tier unit once again. That matters because a secondary needs a leader who plays with a permanent chip on his shoulder, especially in our division. And honestly, the decision to sign him shows that Coach Brady trusts his ability to manage big personalities while keeping the locker room focused on the bigger picture. We have seen players with reputations for being difficult find a home here by embracing our blue-collar identity and the culture we build daily. If he can maintain his health and stay on the field, his aggressive style should fit our defensive scheme perfectly. This signing is the ultimate high-stakes gamble for our secondary, and honestly, it changes the entire identity of this defense. That matters because bringing in a volatile playmaker like C.J. Gardner-Johnson forces every single defensive back to play with a heightened level of intensity or risk getting overshadowed by his massive personality. Regarding the roster, this creates a clear hierarchy where Gardner-Johnson slots in as the starting safety opposite Cole Bishop, effectively pushing younger depth pieces into situational roles while keeping our salary cap flexibility intact with that modest $3.5 million contract. Here is where it gets interesting as we prepare for the schedule ahead. We are looking at aggressive, man-heavy looks that will specifically target high-powered offenses like the Dolphins and the Jets, where his ability to bait quarterbacks into mistakes will be tested immediately. Let's be real, his presence adds a layer of mental warfare we have lacked, making us a nightmare to prepare for during those high-intensity division showdowns. Now here's the thing about our playoff aspirations. This move signals that we are not content with just being competitive because we are hunting for that elusive Super Bowl ring. By securing a veteran who has been on winning rosters, we have successfully bolstered our secondary against top-tier receivers in the AFC. Our standing against division rivals like the Patriots under Mike Vrabel just got much more complicated because now we have the physical swagger to match their grit. We are building a culture here where winning is the only acceptable outcome regardless of the external noise or the social media shade thrown our way by critics. If this unit gels under Coach Joe Brady, we have the secondary depth to lock down the backfield and carry this team deep into the winter. Let's go Buffalo! On one side, bringing in a playmaker like C.J. Gardner-Johnson for a bargain $3.5 million is a masterstroke for this team. We desperately needed a high-energy veteran to pair with young Cole Bishop in the secondary, and his track record of forcing turnovers is exactly what Joe Brady needs to solidify this defense. His ability to jump routes and thrive in chaotic situations gives our secondary an edge that has been missing for years. But on the other side, the risk is undeniable because his history of burning bridges is well documented. When a player has moved through 7 franchises in 7 years, you have to worry if he will eventually become a distraction that hurts our locker room chemistry. Here is where it gets interesting as analysts across the league remain deeply divided on whether he is a missing piece or a ticking time bomb. Some media pundits believe he is a brilliant signing, yet others like Antonio Brown have publicly mocked his substance, fueling a national narrative that he is all talk and no production. That matters because if our defense struggles, the cameras will immediately pivot to him and his history of vocal frustration with previous coaching staffs. Let's be real, Buffalo is a tight-knit community that demands total buy-in, and any friction will be magnified by the press. Personally, I think this is a high-ceiling, high-reward move that fits our new identity under Coach Brady perfectly. If Gardner-Johnson truly wants to win, he will find a home here because we embrace guys who play with a chip on their shoulder. He needs to keep his focus between the white lines, but if he plays the way he is capable of, he will quickly become a fan favorite. We are ready for the intensity, so let's go Buffalo! The arrival of C.J. Gardner-Johnson marks a massive shift in how we approach building our roster under head coach Joe Brady. This move signifies that the organization is moving away from a culture of quiet conformity toward a more aggressive, high-octane identity. By bringing in a player who thrives on chaos and raw competitive fire, the front office is betting that the missing ingredient for our championship pursuit is a bolder, more abrasive defensive mindset. And honestly, this is a calculated risk that reflects a long-term commitment to reinventing our identity for the upcoming seasons. Here is where it gets interesting because this isn't just about one safety. It shows that we are done playing it safe and are instead embracing the grit required to win in a league that is only getting more physical. Let's be real, you should feel incredibly energized heading into this season. Having a proven turnover machine in the secondary changes the math for every opposing quarterback on our schedule. That matters because the AFC is a gauntlet, and having a guy who refuses to back down provides a psychological edge we have lacked for years. Now here's the thing, while his personality is loud, his track record of production is undeniable, and that combination is exactly what we need to get over the hump. With the defensive staff finally aligning with an aggressive scheme, we are positioned to disrupt the entire conference. Given the history of coaching changes around the league, do you believe Gardner-Johnson's fiery intensity is the final piece of the puzzle to secure our first Lombardi trophy? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Let's go Buffalo! I'll see you in the next one.